What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. It is officially race day. So it is currently about 7 o'clock right now. My race will kick off at 10:45. I'm just finishing up prepping all the stuff that I need, so I'm going to show you guys what exactly I'm bringing for the Spartan Beast today. Again, I've never done one of these, so I'm just probably over preparing, but it's better. So I'm going to go through my checklist of everything I'm bringing. Shout out to my wife who made this checklist for me. I didn't have to think. She literally just wrote down everything that she knew I would need today, since I'm terrible and I always forget things. So I'm going to go show you guys what this is, get ready, and then we'll actually head out because it's about 2 hours from where I'm at right now. So first things we got. You're not coming with us, Leo. I wish you were, because if I could run with you, I'd be a beast. Since you are King Leonidas. Yeah. Alright, so I got my shoes. Hold on, Leo. I got my shoes. Got my jacket in case it's cold. Extra pair of clothes, because I'm going to get muddy, obviously. I got my backpack. Oh my gosh. I got my Camelback with all my water. I'm going to put my electrolytes in there. A towel for after. Bag to throw my dirty clothes. Slides so that my feet are comfortable after. As for the fueling that I'm going to be using, okay, obviously you guys know, if you've been watching the channel, I'm a huge advocate for carb powder. So my plan is to take 2 scoops of Ultra Performance prior to the race, and then I have 2 water bottles on my chest pack that I'm going to fill with a scoop in each. So I'll probably sip on that every hour, because again, my goal is to do this under 4 hours. And then I'm bringing Megawatt just in case I need an extra pick-me-up of caffeine, so I may actually mix that in with my pre-workout. I got my previous medals so that I can get some cool pictures of all 3 of them. Protein bars in case I get hungry. GoPro to document everything. Got my glasses so I can take my contacts off. Water. And of course chapstick, and then Theragun before. So that is everything I am bringing. So as for how I'm feeling this morning, I'll be honest, I woke up and I was comfortable in bed. Slept in a little bit longer than usual, like 5 o'clock, which is not what time I usually wake up. And I was comfortable. I really did not want to get out of bed. And I'm not too excited for this race. I'm not going to lie. If I'm going to keep it honest with you guys, which I always do during these videos, when it comes to this stuff, every time it comes to the actual day of, which I've told you guys before, this voice comes inside your head of trying to get you back to go to your comfort zone of like, just stay at home, hang out with your family, play with my daughter, eat, work out, you know, just do my normal day-to-day routine and avoid doing something out of my comfort zone. So there's no going back. I mean, I can't back out. I've talked too much about it. There's too many people that have planned about it, like my wife, my mom and dad, who are coming out to support. So I got to pull the trigger. So I'm going to get dressed, ready, all that stuff. And I have a feeling what's going to happen is as soon as I get to the starting line and we start doing the prep of like yelling and all that stuff, I think that's when it's going to actually hit me that I'm pumped to do this. But I got a 2-hour drive too. So I know that's going to be a long, fun-filled drive. So I'm going to get ready and I'll catch up with you guys before the race. All right, so now I planned on doing like a full vlog video of what the actual day looked like. But when it came down to the actual day of the event, I realized I didn't want to carry around a camera all day. I got into the zone. So I did a terrible job of vlogging, so I'm not even gonna go about it that way. I'm just gonna recap and then I'm gonna splice in different shots from my GoPro. This video is intended for anybody who's thinking about doing a Spartan Beast, but not sure of what it will look like, how to train for it, and how exactly to prepare. So I'm hoping that this video will help anybody who's thinking about doing a Spartan Beast and hopefully convince them to actually pull the trigger and do the beast. All right, so I'm gonna walk you through basically my thoughts for the day of and break it down play by play. So the morning of the actual race, I woke up, I did not feel like doing the race. I was tired, I was comfortable in my bed. And like I said in my last video, the fact that I originally signed up and had 8 different people supposed to do this race with me, and then when it came down to the actual race day, it was just me. That sucked. I know for a fact I would have been a lot more excited if I had a group of people to do it with. So tip number one, definitely make sure you sign up for the race with people who actually are gonna follow through on it. I go outside, I load up the truck. It's very windy, it's very cold, and it's about a 2-hour drive. So we drive to the actual event. The whole way there, I could feel my truck blowing from the wind. And I was like, damn, it's gonna suck. It's freaking windy. Wind is like, for those of you who run, wind is like the worst weather to run in. I don't care if it's 110 out. It's hot, but it's not that bad. If it's raining, it's not that bad. Even cold isn't the best to run in, but when it's super windy, that's when it sucks. So for 2 hours, basically, I'm like, this is gonna be a tough run due to the fact how windy it is. Luckily, when we got to the actual course, it was like in the middle of 2 mountains, so it really wasn't, the wind didn't affect you. So you're supposed to get there about an hour and a half early. I got there probably about 40 minutes to spare. I had to do check-in for registration, and it was packed. So I was already kind of running behind, and if you know me, I hate when I'm running behind, so I didn't have time to vlog, I didn't have time to catch all the stuff, which sucks, but it is what it is. So I stretched out, I drank my pre-workout, which I said I was gonna have carb powder, and then I ended up doing a little bit of pre-workout just for the extra caffeine, because that 2-hour drive really made me tired. It was hot enough that I didn't even have to wear a shirt, so it ended up actually being perfect weather to run in. I could see the course, I could see people running up the mountain, and I was like, okay, this is go time. So luckily, once I actually stood in line for the race, I started getting kind of pumped up. I was still wishing I had someone to do it with, but I was like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna finish this race, because my goal overall was just to complete the race and get my trifecta. I wasn't trying to run through it as fast as I could. I really wasn't even trying to like hit a certain time. I wanted to be below 4 hours. I wanted to come out injury-free. And at the same time, I just wanted to complete the race. So we do the Spartan, the intro or the ritual where you basically, ahoo, 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 and you get all pumped up and everything, and it's go time. So we start running. Within the first mile of the race, I wanna say, the first mile we hit a good incline. So we're doing the incline, it's not too bad. I think I had to walk a little bit because it did get pretty steep. But on the way up, and I'm gonna walk you through all the obstacles I did also. Okay, so the first obstacle we come to was just to basically jump over the wall, a little 4-foot wall. Also, I will show you, at the end of this video, I will recap what exactly my stats were, because I was pretty impressed with my results. So, the actual, the first obstacle we came to, a 4-foot wall. Again, that's basically just jumping over a wall, nothing too crazy. I think the actual obstacle results are a little off, because one, it says we did 33 obstacles. I don't think we did 33 obstacles, because some of these I don't remember doing. Yeah, so we went the 4-inch wall, and then we went to, it was the reason why I liked this race is we went up, and as we're going up, we basically went through, we went over a 4-inch wall or a 4-foot wall, and then when we came back down, we went over, I forgot what it's called. It's like a vertical cargo. The vertical cargo is pretty legit because you have to jump up, like, I want to say it's like a 5-foot platform. Once you get to the platform, then you climb over the top. So at this point, we're actually back towards like the starting line, which all the races I've done, or the other 2 races I've done, usually you go running far away from the course, and then as you come back within like the last 2 miles, you knock out all the obstacles. So I liked within the first 2 miles, I was already knocking out obstacles. So I did the vertical cargo. As soon as we were done with the vertical cargo, then we went and we did the Atlas carry. Atlas carry has never been a problem for me. I mean, grip strength and everything, it's not too bad. So I did that, and then we went to the Helix. The Helix, I never had an issue with that, so I was able to do that. Then I want to say we went back up the mountain. So we went away from the course again when we went over some hills, and then we got to the barbed wire. Funny thing about the barbed wire, So I had I had a Camelback on. So I had my 2 packs right here with my electrolytes / carb powder, and then I had I think a ½ gallon of water on my back. So I go through the barbed wire, and this barbed wire was super low to the point where I was actually just on my elbows crawling through my one knee, and I was kind of inching forward. So the barbed wire is not an issue, it's just uncomfortable when you get dirty. But as soon as I finish the barbed wire, I take off running. As I take off running, again, I'm only probably about 1.5 miles in, and I feel my lower back like super wet, and I'm like, I don't think I'm sweating that bad. Come to find out, within that first 2 miles of the race, I punctured my Camelback, so all the water in my Camelback was leaking down my back. So I was out of water. Not a big deal though, because they have water stations. Tip number 2, I honestly probably wouldn't do a Camelback for the next race, just because it did kind of get heavy and I started feeling it on my shoulders and my lower back. So realistically, if you are in good enough shape and you hydrate properly leading up to the race, like the couple days prior, I think you'd be able to sustain it to the water stations, because they have them kind of scattered throughout the course. All right, so we do the barbed wire. I kind of forgot the order, so I'm just gonna kind of go through this and check them off. We did the Hercules hoist. I've never had issues with that one. That one was easy. Then we went to the inverted wall. Inverted wall was pretty easy. Then we went to the Z wall. Z wall I've never had an issue with. We did the sandbag carry. Sandbag carry was cool. The Olympus, only 32 people completed this obstacle. I was not one of those, or I'm sorry, 32% of people completed this obstacle. I was not one of them. So out of the 2 courses that have had that obstacle, I haven't been able to do it. Now on this one though, the Olympus, if you look at the picture, the chain has a ball at the end of it. The chain had no ball at the end of it. So it was literally a chain or just your grip. And I even tried the technique on that they said to do on the actual Spartan website as a tip. It did not work. I fell. Not far, but I fell and had to basically... That one, there was no burpees though. It was actually a penalty loop. So it was a loop that you went down a hill and had to come back up. So this course did have a lot more penalty loops, at least for the ones that I missed. I did see people doing burpees, but I didn't have to do that many burpees. It was more penalty loops, which I'd rather take penalty loops over burpees all day. So didn't do the Olympus, and then we came to the twisters. I've done the twisters before. So when you come to the twisters, a lot of people have different techniques. Some people go at it straight forward, so they'll grab one, it'll swing, and then they'll grab another one, and they go like that. I've done that before, I don't like it. The last time I did it, I used the technique I'm gonna tell you, and it worked pretty good for me. So I grab it, and I kind of go sideways. So I scale it like right, left, right, and I'm facing this way, and both my hands are facing this way. I feel like that's the easiest for me. And then also when you do it, I don't like to reach super far. Some people do because they're able to swing their momentum, which is beneficial if you're good at controlling yourself. I'm not that good at controlling myself, so I kind of did every other one, which again, if you do it that way, you're gonna feel it in your shoulders, your arms, your back. It's gonna tax your body a lot more, which it definitely taxed my body. And then as soon as I was done with that, my arms were pretty much fried. And I wasn't even that many obstacles in. We got to the I don't even know how to say it, Tyrolean Traverse. So this one sucked, and there's 2 tips, okay?
One, I was talking to a guy who was in the Marines, and he was telling me that the rope had way too much slack. That's why everybody was falling. And there was a lot of slack. You could kind of see it when I was in the clip that I'm about to show you. But there was a lot of slack, and that rope was freaking long. So I mount up, and I talked to the guy, and he's like, yeah, just, he's kind of giving me different tips of if you fully extend, you could kind of use your core strength to kind of caterpillar to yourself and then reach out and caterpillar to yourself. You could do it that way. I saw one girl that actually beasted it. She hooked it right basically behind her calf and then just pulled herself. And she did it quick. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try that one. So I tried that. Make sure you have socks on, because if you have socks on, if you don't, it's gonna tear up the back of your calf. So I get on and I'm going down this thing, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm coasting, I'm moving pretty fast. I feel pretty good. About halfway through, I don't know what happened, but my left foot, or I think I started drooping too far, and I was trying to keep it close to my chest. So I drooped kind of far. I had to throw my leg back over. That kind of messed me up. I kind of went maybe like a couple more pulls, and then I decided to look up. Terrible idea. I looked up and saw that the bell, I was nowhere near it, and I thought I was. And I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna make this. So ended up dropping, took off running. This was the first obstacle that I saw someone who cut it short, okay? So I had a penalty loop. There was a guy that was like 2 people in front of me that he failed. He wasn't able to do it. I went on, I did my penalty loop. When I came out of the penalty loop, I was running or jogging, and about 30 yards in front of me, the guy who also didn't make it was already in front of me. And I'm like, how did he get in front of me? Turns out he didn't do the penalty loop. That's one thing about these Spartan races. They do have people at the obstacles usually regulating who does the penalty loop or the burpees. They don't always catch everybody. It's part of life. I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, you just got to ask yourself, are you going to be the person that cheats and then says that they did an actual race? I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be one that I said I did it 100%, whether I fail or have to do an obstacle or can't do an obstacle. That was my thought process. So anyway, that Tyrone Traverse, I can't give you guys any tips on that because I wasn't able to do it. 8-foot wall, when you're fatigued, it's a little bit like more difficult. This one, again, I kind of just used pull-up strength and pulled myself over. Sandbag carry, that one really, the tip with that, I've seen a couple of people do it. One, people put it on their head. I always have my GoPro, so I'm not gonna do that. I usually just put it right behind my back. The reason I don't put it on a shoulder, you could put it on a shoulder, but if you do put it on a shoulder, about halfway through, you're gonna have to rotate it. And sometimes that gets a little bit difficult. So my recommendation is put it on the back. If you start getting fatigued, turn it just a little bit so that you can still grab it back here, walk. And then that way, if this one gets tired, it's a little bit easier to pull it back around. As opposed to if you wrap it all the way and it's fully rested right here, then you're leaning, and to get it back, you gotta use a lot of your strength. So rest it in the middle and then kind of just rotate it back and forth. That one wasn't too bad though because it didn't feel as far as the other ones. We did hurdles. Hurdles are easy. There's a couple ways you can do them. One, you could throw yourself up, put a foot up, and then jump over. Some people kind of put themselves up, put their stomach on it, and then swing their feet over. Again, if you can get your chest on it, then you really just have to swing your legs over. The beater sucks, but the beater, you gotta get that momentum. The hardest part about the beater is some of them are higher. Than the other ones, but that one is fun. 7-inch wall, did that, no problem. The box, I took a technique that I learned from my super, and that one is when it comes to the rope, I put my feet on the rope, the little knot in the rope, and then I kind of held onto the top, put my feet up a little bit higher, and then I literally just stood up on the rope and kind of climbed over. This one I didn't do it as smoothly. I kind of actually just had to pull myself over. All right, so once I finished with that, that's when the course actually got a little more difficult. So this course, again, it was pretty hilly, and we had to go over a couple different mountains. There was parts of it that were very steep going up, and then there was a couple times that as soon as you got to the top, you immediately came straight back down and another very steep incline. Some of these inclines were so steep that I actually couldn't even walk down them. I had to literally sit on my butt and slide down. A couple people actually fell and slid down. So that's just to kind of show you how steep this course was. So the terrain, even though it was, and there was actually even one portion of it that as soon as I saw it, it was very, very it was a pretty far distance that was all uphill. But once you got to the top, it was kind of cool because you were able to get like a view of the entire course of what you already did. Then we got to, at one of the top of these hills, they actually had the Stairway to Sparta, which I've done that one in the past. This one seemed a little bit higher than the one that I did on the Big Bear course. So I didn't even actually attempt this one just because I did have that cramp that I felt like was coming in my left leg. And I'm like, if I get all the way to the top and cramp up, this could be really bad. So that one I just went to the lady, asked her, am I doing burpees or penalty loop? She said burpees, so I got on the ground, did some burpees. Then we got to the multi-rig. Now the multi-rig was cool because this, I've done this on another course, was not able to do it. This course I was actually able to do it, but I didn't have my GoPro turned on. And I didn't have my GoPro turned on because I knew I was only gonna be able to get certain obstacles because of the battery life. And I was pretty certain I wasn't gonna make this one, so I didn't even film it, which sucks because I did end up getting it. That one, my technique was I grabbed both hands on one ring, swung, grabbed the other one. I did not let go of this one. And then as I came back, then I'd grab and just kind of go ring to ring. After that, then we came to the rope climb. I didn't even attempt the rope climb. The reason I did not attempt the rope climb is because at this point, I felt like I was making pretty decent time. I didn't want to waste time attempting the rope climb and then having to go do the penalty loop. So I just went straight to the penalty loop. Then we got to the bucket carry. Again, the bucket carry is very similar to the sandbag carry. I just threw it on my back, walked like this, and every once in a while I'd kind of move it to the front and then move it back and forth. That one, you just got to suck it up and move. Rolling mud was cool. I've never had rolling mud. I've always just had one mud go straight into the dunk wall and then come out. This one, you went down into one pit of mud, had to climb out, went down another pit of mud, had to climb out, and then you went down into the dunk wall. Now with the mud wall, there's a certain path that everybody's taking. Just see where everybody goes and take that path.
You're good.
The dunk wall, you just go underneath, it's cold, and then you come back out, but it actually felt good because it was a warm day. Then we got to the slip wall. This slip wall was definitely higher than the other slip walls, but the technique to that is grab the rope, lean back, and just walk up. It's very simple if you lean back. If you lean forward and try to stay close to it, you're gonna fall. And then I got to the spear. I was very upset. Out of all my Spartan races I've done, I've never been able to complete the spear. I was not able to complete it either, and then I had to do a penalty loop. And this penalty loop was the longest penalty loop out of all of them, which makes no sense to me because the spear throw is not physical at all. So if the exercise or the obstacle is not physically demanding, I don't understand why the penalty is more physical than the actual obstacle. That's just my own personal opinion. Then as I was running, I could see actually the finish line, so I saw the A-frame cargo. I'm jogging up. At this point, my quads are pretty much toast. I could feel them tightening up. Get to the A-frame cargo, climb up the A-frame cargo, come down the opposite side, jump over the fire pit. I saw the fire pit, which was actually very cool because I never got to do that obstacle. Saw the fire pit, jumped over the fire pit, went to the finish line, got my medal. And at that point, I had officially completed my first Spartan Beast, getting my third medal of the Spartan Trifecta. So let's recap how I felt after I finished the race. First of all, I walked over to my wife as soon as I was done and my family. Shout out to my beautiful bride for not only supporting me in all three of these races, but attending all three of them with my little girl. Shout out to my little girl for being amazing for these three races. And then shout out to my mom and dad for coming to all three races, helping Cassie as she watches Adeline. So shout out to my support crew. I would definitely not have done all three of these without all four of my supporters there. So love you guys. Thank you for being there. But when I was finished, Cassie actually thought I was mad at everybody. I was not mad. I was just dead tired. It instantly hit me. My legs hit me. I honestly felt it in my legs the most. My back was fine, but my quads and then my left hamstring were done. And there was nowhere to sit. I just wanted to sit. At this point, I was getting kind of cold because I was obviously wet and it was windy. I wanted a shower. I wanted to go home. I wanted a nap. I was hungry. I mean, it was just a lot of different mixed feelings. It was different than my last Spartan, or my other 2 Spartan races, because those ones, when I finished, I was hyped. I was ready to do another Spartan race. I wanted to tell everybody about it. This one, I was definitely beat. When I finished though, I did hit the timer on my watch. And the time on my watch said 3 hours, 29 minutes. So when I saw my watch time, I felt like that was a pretty good time. And even Cassie, she was like, dang, you did that really fast. Again, I was hoping to do it in 4 hours. So when I saw my time, I was like, dang, that actually was a pretty good time. So that night I went home, I showered, ate, all that stuff. When I was sitting around, I went on to Spartan, I logged into my Spartan account. Now what I love about these Spartan races is once you obviously run, you have a bracelet. The bracelet keeps your time. So I went in, and that night they already logged the time. So when I looked at the times, I was very shocked to see how I placed. So out of the 2,210 people at the Spartan Beast, I finished in the top 2%, which is a lot better than the other 2 races I did. The other 2, I think I finished in like the top 12 and the top 15%. I was very shocked. At the same time, I was very upset. So I finished in the top 2%. I got 48 out of 2,210 people there. So out of everybody there, male and female, I got 48th place. Out of all the males there, so there was 1,528 males there, I got 45th. So I placed in the top 45 of the males. Out of my age group, so I'm in the age group from 30 to 34 years old, out of 286 people in that age group, I got 12th place. So I was very happy initially, I was very shocked initially, and then once I looked at it, I got actually very upset. The reason why I got upset is because I knew, right? When I was running the race, I knew I could have pushed it more. I knew I had a little bit left in my tank, and I didn't go 110%. I was going at about 80%, okay? I pretty much jogged every flat part, walked every incline. But I did that because my goal was to finish the race. So I left some in the tank, and now I'm very upset. I wish that I would have given it 100%, pushed myself even a little bit more. Not a lot more, because there wasn't that much left in the tank, but there was some left in the tank. And I'm curious to see what I would have got. So I do have some regrets, because I wish I would have just pushed it a little bit more to see what I was actually truly capable of, because looking at the results, I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm very happy with my placement, but now I'm definitely going back next year. I'm hoping that they do the same course next year, and I'm hoping that I can finish the course in about 3 hours. I think if I could finish the course in 3 hours, I would probably be in the top 10 overall, maybe the top 1%. So that just goes to show you guys, even though I'm always telling my students and obviously you guys, give 100% at everything you do. Give 110% if you can. Do I do it all the time? No. It's not easy. And even me sometimes give into the voice of average and just do the bare minimum. And it sucks, and I'm telling you right now, you feel terrible after you do it. So, word of advice, if you're ever doing something, make sure you go 100%, because I guarantee you if you don't, even though you have an accomplishment, like I said, I'm not taking anything away from my race, but I know deep down inside I could have given it a little bit more, and that feeling sucks. So that basically wraps up this Spartan recap. My thoughts, again, would I do it again? 100%. As soon as I came home, I mapped out basically, I'm gonna try and do 6 Spartan races next year. There's 3 that I've never done before that I wanna try, but I'm definitely gonna trace the trifecta again. I'm gonna take a couple months off. I'm probably gonna not start training until maybe mid-December, maybe after Christmas, because the one I'm looking at doing is January 28th, and that's a 6-miler. I think maybe I need 6 weeks to get ready for that one. I don't think I'll be too bad. But for the next couple weeks, I got, again, this challenge that I'm trying to get in the top physical shape of my life, or the best physical shape of my life. I'm trying to drop down to 200 pounds. I figure if I could drop down to 200 pounds, get the physique I want, and then about maybe a month later start incorporating the cardio, I'll be fine come January 28th. I would encourage anybody who's thinking about doing a Spartan Beast to just pull the trigger, sign up, try to get as many people with you as you can, because if they bail, that way you have some fallbacks. I actually got a couple people that did this race, but the day after, that I didn't know they were doing it, and we're already talking about doing our races probably for the next year. So looking back on my actual prep, one thing, if you guys have watched this channel or if you know me in person, I'm a firm believer that you could always improve. I hate saying better, because then it's like you're not realizing what you accomplished. I realized what I did, and I realized that I'm proud of what I did, but I know I could have given a little bit more. And that's just something you gotta be honest with yourself. For the prep I could have definitely I didn't hit all the miles I was supposed to. I didn't run every day I was supposed to. And the reason why is because you guys know I'm big on balance. I didn't want to sacrifice so much time away from my daughter and my wife during the prep. And don't get me wrong, I sacrificed a lot. And that's why I appreciate Cassie for letting me do this and supporting me through this. But I wasn't willing to sacrifice, go 100%, knowing that it was going to take away from that time for so long. And I was okay with that. Some people are like, no, you got to give it your 100%. I'm a firm believer of balance. So what I was willing to do, I was happy with. Could I have done more, or could I have maybe strategically calculated how I was going to do it so that I don't lose more time with my wife and daughter? Yeah, I probably could have. But again, was I willing to? I don't think I was. And that's on me. I know what I need to do in order to improve. And that's really what you should be doing in life, is every time you hit a milestone and something, a goal you accomplish, you should always be looking and asking yourself 2 questions. What did I do really well? What could I have done better? And that's really what I ask myself at the end of my race, at the end of everything I do, whether it be work, gym related, anything related, any goal related. So now that the Spartan Beast and the Trifecta is complete, I'm already looking forward to my next goal. Today is currently Monday, October 24th. I woke up this morning, I hit a leg day because I got 6 weeks to basically drop my weight. I weighed in at 214 this morning because I cheated on Saturday and Sunday. But now I really got to lock it in and try to win this $50,000 over the next 6 weeks, drop 10 pounds and get absolutely shredded so that I could see what I'm capable of. So once I'm done with the 6-week prep, which will put me right basically, I think, to December 3rd, then I got basically a month. And then I'm already looking at my next Spartan race, which is probably going to be January 28th, and I think it's going to be a super. I pretty much planned out 6 races for next year. So am I coming back for Spartan race? Yes. Am I going to try to beat all my times from last year? Absolutely. Am I going to add some races? Absolutely. I'm already mapping out my goals for 2023. I got basically a quarter left to prep, get my mind right, and then 2023 is going to be, I'm hoping, a big year, obviously for the channel, for my physical goals, and for some of my accomplishments. If you watched this far, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate all the support. I know a lot of people were expecting this video. I hope I answered any questions you may have had about a Spartan Beast. I hope this video was very informative to you guys. At the same time, I hope it really encourages you guys to get out there and try to do a Spartan race. Get as many people as you can. Start off with the sprint, work your way up to the super, and I guarantee anybody out there, if they set their mind to it, you can accomplish the Spartan Beast. So I appreciate you guys watching. You guys already know the motto: stay happy, stay healthy, and above all, don't be average. Now go sign up for a Spartan race. I'll catch you guys next time.